Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football. The NFL draft has ended. A lot has happened right now. Most of you are probably drafting for your rookie drafts as we speak. Some also may be doing it this upcoming weekend. Or for those who like to have it a little bit closer to the season, we'll obviously have a lot to study and go over for the summer. So I want to talk about some winners and some losers that came out of the NFL draft that might affect your dynasty team. And of course, may affect some of your redraft strategy when you come up to your drafts in August and September. So again, most of this will be kind of lean towards the dynasty side. PPR, of course, maybe half PPR. If it's non-PPR, it might change a little bit, but not too much. Again, winners and losers. I don't have a specific order in how I want to talk about these players, but I want to make sure that these players are mentioned to help you guys with your dynasty, whether you're in the middle of your draft, before your draft, or anything else, just to get your team ready for this upcoming season, and then, of course, future. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, that like button, and let's continue. So the number one winner that I really want to talk about is going to be Bijan Robinson. And it has nothing to do with where he went. Honestly, he could have gone anywhere. He was going to be a winner. Now, he went to Atlanta, which in this case, I think is still a winner in his aspect. Yes, you've got Tyler Algier, who was a 1,000-yard back for his rookie campaign. Did a great job. Did they necessarily need him? No, but the Falcons got a generational type of running back that can absolutely be a winner for your team. He should be the 101. I have seen a little bit of some rookie drafts that I'm in where I fall into the 102 or 103, mostly because of a super flex and that team desperately needed quarterbacks. So it's sort of understandable, but even then, I would take Bijan, maybe struggle one more year, and then maybe get Caleb Williams next year. Who knows? Again, your strategy would always be different, but that would be my recommendation. Bijan's the type of guy that from day one can be the 3-down back. Now, reason why I also say this is a winner, because they have Algier, they don't have to press and put Bijan 3 downs every single time. They can use Algier to help relieve him, keep him healthy and fresh throughout the season, and not put a lot of wear and tear to help him have a long, healthy career. So I think this is a big win in this aspect. I don't think it hinders his value of 101. He can be a day one starter in your fantasy, whether it be redraft or dynasty. So he is an absolute winner. Another winner I want to talk about is Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs, before the draft, was going to be a top back. He didn't fall too far from Bijan as far as talent. One of the best receiving backs, something I talked about in my rankings before the draft. Everyone got a little nervous when he went to Detroit. And understandable. DeAndre Swift was there. They just signed David Montgomery, right? So there was a lot of uncertainty. Now, when DeAndre Swift got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, that opened up the possibility of Gibbs now being an absolute top 4 or 5 pick in your rookie drafts and being a great RB1 for your team. It is a win. You've got a great offense with Jared Goff, good receiver in Amon-Ra. Obviously, Jameson Williams, when he comes back with, that whole situation. You've got Marvin Jones back there. You've got David Montgomery. Again, doesn't necessarily need to take over. Lets Gibbs kind of have that ease into the NFL, which is great. So again, I like this for Jahmyr Gibbs. He's an absolute winner out of this one. Another winner, I'm going to say it, Cam Akers. Obviously, Akers did a phenomenal job at the end of the last season. He started to look like a really top 10 type of running back when it came to fantasy. He's always had that type of ability, but he wasn't necessarily trusted in the Rams offense. And I'm hoping it shows that this can be his team. With that said, they didn't use a lot of draft capital as far as running backs. They did obviously draft a running back, but nothing that would really have any concerns as far as Akers being the RB1 and this team. So I think this is actually a big win for Cam Akers. I do think Cam Akers will still have somewhat of a split backfield. I think he's going to be more 60-40 in this aspect, which, again, let's be honest, this is how the NFL is now. It is a 2-back type of system. I don't care what offense it is. It's very rare you have players like a Derrick Henry, right? Very rare you have a Barkley. It's not as common. You have a lot of teams using it, and it can still be very efficient. And Cam Akers is the winner in this aspect. I like him in here. Another running back I think is a winner is Isaiah Pacheco. A lot has happened. They didn't sign the 5-year option for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's had some injury concerns. Even though he's very talented, he can't stay on the field. I think Kansas City is absolutely done with him. They didn't go out and draft a crazy, like a really top-tier running back when it came to this offense. They added some receiving weapons. So Pacheco is a big winner out of this. He had a great playoff. He had some great games last year. Wasn't phenomenal all year round, but he showed flashes. Now you have a full offseason and really coming into the season as the RB1 on this offense. That's a win in everybody's book, whether it be for Mahomes, whether it be for the receivers, and then, of course, anybody who has Pacheco on your team. He is a winner out of this draft. Again, running backs there's a lot of winners in here I want to talk about because these guys really survived. Rachaad White, another guy who survived the draft. Rumors of possibly Bijan going to Tampa, all these other things. Rachaad White saved because of the draft. Now, I know I mentioned Rachaad White as someone you could possibly sell because of where his possibility is. I still think he's got some value as a selling piece. He wasn't very efficient last year. He doesn't have a lot of competition this year, which is why I think he's a good sell right now at this point, because who else is taking his job? Could Leonard Fournette come back? Possibly. He's still a free agent. I don't think it's going to happen. But I think they're going to bring a veteran in. I think they're going to bring somebody in to add to help with, obviously, Baker Mayfield or Trask or whoever they put at the quarterback position. But right now, at this point, Rachaad White is a winner. He's going to be the lone back at this point. He has the ability to grow in this offense. He's got a full off season again from his rookie career or rookie season. I think this is going to help him. I still think he's a sell, but I like him at this aspect. So if you need to keep him, keep him. You don't have to let go unless you get something worth value. Another winner, I believe, in this draft was Jordan Addison. I know he's a rookie. He hasn't stepped on the field yet. I get it. But Jordan Addison, opposite of Justin Jefferson, and a pass-heavy type of offense, Kirk Cousins likes to throw the ball around. Now, he's going to compete with KJ Osborne, who I thought KJ Osborne was going to be a great wide receiver too. But now you add a talent like Addison, that might change. Now, Addison might be used as a slot and transition into the outside. We'll see how this goes. But this value is absolutely dynamic. Having him opposite of Jefferson, I think he's going to be the type of receiver that's going to come out, get you 60 to 70 catches this season. That's that type of possibility for him. So I like him. I think this is a big winner for him. Another rookie receiver I think absolutely won in this one is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. And Jigba absolutely won, going to a Seattle team that isn't a pass-heavy team, but you have two veteran receivers in Metcalf and Lockett who are absolutely going to help him really transition into the NFL. Geno Smith was phenomenal last year, and I think he's going to help, again, this rookie receiver. You've got a nice veteran quarterback, a really strong culture in Seattle, a team that's going to run the ball very well with obviously Kenneth Walker and now Charbonnet. There's a lot to love about this pick. And realistically, I think for him, he doesn't have to be pushed into it. He doesn't have to be the star on this offense, but I think he become the star in this offense. So I think he's an absolute win where he went to. Another winner is Anthony Richardson. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I don't think he's the most talented. I don't think he was the best quarterback coming to this draft. He's a very talented quarterback in this draft. I think the Colts was the best option for him, where he can develop into a really good quarterback. We'll see if he becomes elite or top tier. But his talent and what he's able to do in that offense with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, you add Josh Downs, there's a lot to love about this. And I think this is a perfect, really whole scenario for him and the Colts. So he's definitely a winner. The Colts are a winner in this aspect. I like this pick a lot for them. I think he's definitely somebody you should be drafting pretty high. I'm seeing him in the 102, 103, possibly the 104, but typically 102 is where I'm seeing him fall in most rookie drafts. Another winner right now at this point is James Conner. Now for Dynasty, I wouldn't say it's the biggest winner. He might be somebody you might want to sell to a team that is a built to win type of team now, and you're trying to rebuild. You might get some value out of him just because he's probably got another good year or so left in him. But right now he's the RB1. Now you've got Keontae Ingram, who's his backup at this point. I've stashed Keontae Ingram. I think he's a good deep stash or someone you can put on your taxi. But I like James Conner a lot because, again, who do they really add for this Arizona team? They're going to have to rely on James Conner because of obviously the injury to Kyler Murray. Murray's going to miss it probably a good half of the season. We'll see how this goes with his rehab. You're going to have Colt McCoy possibly starting. They're not going to put all of this on McCoy's shoulders. So James Conner is going to be someone who's going to have to benefit, and I like him as a good winner. Now, another running back I like as a winner is Ramondre Stevenson. New England didn't do anything as far as adding a real challenge to him. So you got Pierre Strong, obviously still there. So you got some people behind him, but Ramondre absolutely is the winner in this one. They let go of Damian Harris, right? He's a great PPR back. He's got great talent. He's going to, again, only help Mac Jones. He is probably one of my favorite running backs right now in Dynasty or redraft because, again, lack of competition, right? There's nothing really competing against it. He was a great PPR last year back, and I think it's only going to add value this year. And it says a lot because New England tends to grab running backs to kind of play as really a full plethora of running backs, usually 2 to 3 backs. But right now, it's a pretty clear-cut running backs commit. Like, it's Ramondre Stevenson. That's it. So I love this pick. I love where he can fall. I think he's an absolute buy if you can grab him. I think most people are going to hold on to him or sell him pretty high, but I love where he's at right now. Now, the last winner, I believe, in this draft is, out of this whole outcome, is Rashee Rice. Look, Rashee Rice to Kansas City with a talented arm and Patrick Mahomes. Opposite of, I wouldn't say a huge competition at wide receiver, right? They lost McCole Hardman. They lost, obviously, Juju. So you got Tony there, right? You don't have a lot. You got MVS still there. There's not a lot besides really Travis Kelce at the receiving option. So I think Rice is in a perfect position. They played a lot, in the offseason. They took some passes from him. They were really comfortable, him and Mahomes. So I'm seeing Rice fall 3rd to 4th round in some rookie drafts. I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. I think probably getting more into this summer, you'll probably see him get drafted a little bit higher if your draft's a little bit later, just because of all the videos and people talk about him and things like that. And obviously camps are going to start. But right now, if you're drafting at this moment, I'm seeing him in the mid to late 3rd rounds. And that is an absolute steal in your rookie. Even if he's nothing this year, I think he will have some value. But if he doesn't even do phenomenal this year, which is going to be odd in his offense, I think he's a great taxi to kind of sit for a year and let him develop. But I love where he's going to be at. Now, of course, with every winner, there's going to be some losers. And unfortunately, this draft, I do think there are some losers. Now, you may not agree. You may agree, right? Let me know in the comments if you think some of these picks are great as a loser. Maybe they shouldn't be on this list. But Zach Charbonnet is the first loser, unfortunately. Realistically, RB3 coming into this draft, right? Very talented, a lot of hope, a lot of expectation, but unfortunately went to a team that pretty much has a clear-cut RB1. And the way Pete Carroll uses his offense, once he finds a running back he likes, he uses them. There's not really a committee when it comes to that. Look at his pass. Rashad Penny was the RB1 when Kenneth Walker came in. Now, the only reason Kenneth Walker took over, Penny was hurt. A lot of that scenarios, if there's a running back that's hurt, then he uses that running back pretty much for the rest of the season as long as they stay as hot as they can be. Charbonnet did not fall in a perfect scenario. Now, are you going to draft him? Absolutely. But I think where he was supposed to be drafted in your rookie drafts is a little too high and a little too rich for me right now. I'd rather go after some other players just because I think you get more value out of them. Not to say, again, don't draft Charbonnet, but just lower your expectations of him. I think, unfortunately, because of where his landing spot is, unless something happens to Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet is not going to be a guy who's going to get 10 to 15 touches. I don't see that happening. Maybe 5, maybe 6, something like that. Maybe some small touch here or there, but it's going to be Kenneth Walker at this point unless something happens. And obviously, you hope nothing does happen. Another loser is going to be Zay Flowers. And I was high as can be when it comes to Zay Flowers. He was my favorite receiver coming into this draft. I was hoping, as a Cowboy fan, he was going to go to Dallas. I thought he was going to be a great receiver opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Fortunately, he went to Baltimore. Now, this is where I think you could either disagree with me or not. I still think he's very talented. I'm still going to draft him if I can. I just have to look at where he's getting drafted in my rookies. If he's fallen late 1st round, early 2nd round, I don't think it's a bad pickup at all. I'm not going as high as I was willing to before, like a 106, 107, depending on where the quarterbacks and running backs fell. Because unfortunately, until this whole Ravens offense proves me otherwise, they're still a run-heavy team. They're not a pass-heavy team. You're not going to see a lot of passes his way. He's going to be a 50 to 60 catch type of receiver if, again, he beats Bateman and you still got Odell and all these other aspects when it comes to this. So unfortunately, Zay Flowers is a loser in this aspect because of where he went. Not because of his talent, just because of his landing spot. Another player again, not telling you to sell him, but I just felt kind of lost some value is Travis Etienne. Etienne now has to compete with Tank Bigsby, who's going to be, I think, a really solid running back in this league. He's going to be a goal line type of back. He's going to be that back they're going to use if Jacksonville's up and they need to just wear down the defense. That's where I'm afraid of. And it's a lot has to do with the fact that Doug Peterson tends to, unfortunately, not put a huge emphasis on the run game like he does on the pass game. He's a great quarterback whisperer. He's a great pass offensive type of head coach. Running game, not so great. And so now you add another running back who I think adds some value. Now, Bigsby I love, but fortunately, I'm losing some value in when it comes to Travis Etienne. His rankings kind of dropped a little bit. Another player I have as a loser is Tyler Lockett. Lockett this year I think still has value, but his value of dynasty is absolutely dropped. Not just because of his age, but now you add a stud in Jigba, who is absolutely going to take over that wide receiver 2 role. He is. Let's just call it what it is. He's a way more talented Tyler Lockett and has a lot of similar skill sets when it comes to what Lockett does a great job at. Unfortunately, Lockett's value is just absolutely just died on us because of that draft pick. I think Metcalf stays still. I don't think anything lost there. I think he might lose a couple more shares his way, but Lockett's definitely a big one. Another receiver I've felt his value drop a little bit is Mike Williams. Quentin Johnston is a very similar wide receiver. Big, tall guy, great, athletic, gets to the ball, does a great job after the catch. That's a Mike Williams type of player. Mike Williams' only issue is he's been having issues staying on the field. So now you get another player with similar skill set. And if Mike Williams can stay healthy, we'll see how it plays together because you still got Keenan Allen there. So I think of those 3 receivers, Johnston, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen, I think Mike Williams is the odd man out. So unfortunately, I lowered his ranking and his value on my dynasty when it comes to that. And I think he's one of those guys who took a loss in this draft. Obviously, Tyler Algier is another player that absolutely took a loss. I was really high on Algier. I really liked this whole Atlanta offense and what they were building. And I was hoping, at least from a fan aspect, because I'm not a Falcon fan, but as an NFL fan, I would have loved to have seen Atlanta go and Jigba and Drake London and Pitts and Algier. Like that would have been a fantastic offense. I understand why they went Bijan. You can't pass up a talent like that. But in this case, in Dynasty, Algier lost big time in this. He was somebody that I was trying to buy shares of, and I had a few, and now I'm like kind of in that weird limbo stage. Like you can't really necessarily sell him for high value. You don't want to get rid of him because you had such a high ranking of him. Unfortunately, he's definitely a loss there. My last 3 players that I have as far as losing in this draft is Dawson Knox. He's one absolutely lost. Not just because of the offense in general, right? Like look at Buffalo. They don't pass the tight end a lot. His value wasn't fantastic in general, but he was drafted in a lot of redraft. He was drafted in Dynasty. But now that you add a tight end like Dalton Kincaid, who I think is a better talent than Dawson Knox, might see a lot of those shares. Again, I don't think Kincaid's going to be a stud out the gate because, again, Buffalo does not throw to the tight end like most are hoping. They say, oh, this is his Travis Kelce. Let's be honest, that's not the way this offense is built. Now, could they change it? Absolutely. We'll see how that goes in the season, but Kincaid absolutely just knocked Dawson Knox when it comes to Dynasty and realistically knocked him completely out when it comes to redraft. So he's definitely a loser in this one. Will Levis is a loser in this aspect just because of his landing spot, his value, and his draft capital, right? He's going to be a top 5, top 10 quarterback. And at least most people, I think, kind of realize, no, this is not that type of quarterback. I don't think he was anywhere near the level of Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Is he a good quarterback? He could be, right? He's got talent. He's got a good arm, right? Those are things you look for, and you're hoping you can teach him some things. And I think being behind Ryan Tannehill helps in Tennessee. But even going into this offseason right now, he's going to be the 3rd quarterback. He's even behind Malik Willis, and he's essentially being told that he's got to fight to move up in his ranks. Could he end up being the starter at the end of the season? Yeah, it depends on how Tennessee's rank, their whole, I guess, team in general. I don't think a lot of people have high expectations of this team, so there's a good chance he's starting halfway through the season. But in my aspect, because of where he was drafted, you could get him in the 2nd round. I've seen him go in some drafts in the 3rd round. So for me, Will Levis definitely lost in this one. And the last player I want to talk about is Khalil Herbert. I was never high on Khalil Herbert anyways. I think he was somebody that showed flashes, a lot of injuries, I never thought he was going to be really the RB1 for Chicago. But then you add a running back, Rashawn Johnson. Rashawn Johnson, I absolutely love. I had really, really high hopes for him. I was hoping he'd go into a good spot, and I actually love where he fell in Chicago. I think he's going to be a good RB2 when it comes to probably the end of the season. I think he's a great steal in your rookie drafts. I'm seeing Rashawn Johnson at the end of second, middle of third rounds, and I think that's an absolute steal for him. He's definitely one of my sleepers going into some of these redrafts, in your late redrafts, and we'll obviously do that closer to the season. But Herbert, I think, definitely took a hit, unfortunately, in that one. So he's my last loser of this list. So those are my winners and losers after this NFL draft. If you guys have some other suggestions or other players you think, or if you guys agree or disagree with this list, let me know in the comments down below. I love to hear your guys' comments. I love to see what other people think about these rookies and vets and see how they really took a hit from the NFL draft. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you guys are subscribed and make sure you guys like the channel as well. Again, appreciate it. Share this up with your friends, family, whoever you are, and other fantasy friends. Again, may not be your colleagues, but maybe some people that you know aren't in the same league. You want to make sure that you got that information. If you guys haven't already, check out our other ranking videos. We'll be dropping even more with Dynasty. A lot's going on this season. We're going to talk obviously in buys and sells. We're going to do a lot of rookie mock drafts for you guys. So again, stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. I'll catch you guys next time.